Muito bom dia para todos. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of our students from the Portuguese 1B class at Fresno State who have joined us. Welcome to some community members who have joined us also. Bom dia para aqueles também que nos acompanham, não só os nossos alunos, que já estão, portanto, conosco, mas também aqueles que estão, portanto, a acompanhar-nos, membros da nossa comunidade, através das várias redes sociais onde estamos a apresentar. Com muito gosto. I'm going to switch to English because our presentation is in English, and we do have many of our students and, of course, community members who are joining us and do not speak Portuguese or very limited. So we are happy on behalf of the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute from California State University, Fresno, to have with us the historian Francisco Miguel Nogueira, who was born in the island of Terceira. He is a historian. He is a researcher. He also does various other forms of work involving getting people around the historical theme. And he has a bachelor's, as we call it here, licenciatura, as it is known in Portugal, and also a master's in modern and contemporary history, with a specialty in international relations. He's been involved in many various aspects of teaching history in the archipelago and beyond the Azores as well. He is also has been involved in the Instituto Açoriano de Cultura and the Instituto Histórico da Ilha Terceira, both of which are cultural and historical institutes with great repercussions throughout the island and throughout the islands. He's been a guest speaker at various conferences, regarding various aspects of history, from military history to religious history. He's also been a regular collaborator with many media outlets, especially newspapers. And he has won various awards, including an award from the first gala of the Jornal da Praia VTEC that was in 2014 for his contribution to the history of the Azores. He is the author of the book Angra em Revolução, o levantamento liberal de 2 de abril de 1821, really rapidly revolution in Angra, and the liberal uprising of April 2nd of 1821, which will be the theme for his talk today. And so we welcome historian Francisco Miguel Nogueira. Muito bem-vindo.
Obrigado. Good morning. Thank you very much for this invitation and to talk about a little bit about the liberal uprising of April 1821. That is the name of my book, my solo book, not my first book, but my solo book. And let's go to do some voyage until our history. Like I said, I work a little. I work with several books before, but this is my first published solo book. The invitation was from the mayor of Angra do Heroísmo, that Dinis Borges conhece, very well, Dr. Alan Menezes. Realized that there was little material about this first liberal uprising in Terceira. And so I went to the archives and tried to find something new and know more about this event. It was the year to celebrate the 200th anniversary of this event. It was in 2021. And we need to know more details about this uprising. But I fell deeply in love with this topic and these historical people that we're going to talk about it, and they are very fascinated. These people that we are going to talk to, Franciscos, like me, with the same name. So we're going to talk about them and what they did and what is this liberal uprising. The first one in Terceira Island, it was in Angra, not the first in Azores. The first it was in São Miguel, but this is the second one, the first one in Terceira. And exactly 203 years ago, on April 2021, and April 1821, Terceira was a climate of conflict between the Wolf and the new governor and Captain General of the Azores. A situation that would end on April the 2nd, 1821, with the first liberal uprising in Angra do Heroísmo and consequently on Terceira Island. Sorry for my voice. She's not very good today. My first book and this presentation is about the liberal uprising, but ends on focus on two names that cannot be dissociated from these events, and that their mentality and way of thinking and acting will be important in the development of the revolts, the revolution, and its consequences. In this photo, I think you can see, this is Terceira. This is in Terceira. This is the first one, the 7 Captain General of Azores, Francisco António de Araújo Azevedo. This is we have no photo or
Francisco, por qualquer razão não está a passar de diapositivo por diapositivo aqui, portanto, no nosso ecrã. Estamos a ver todos, não está a passar, ainda está no número 1. Talvez, vamos ver se...
Deixa-me tentar ver isso de outra maneira. Deixa-me tentar ver aqui isto. Deixa-me ver se eu
And thanks everyone. Muito obrigado a todos. Thanks everyone for a bit of a lapse we had. Technology does these things when we're doing things far away. On the other side of the Atlantic, we have our guest back on, historian Francisco Miguel Nogueira, Angra at War, the liberal uprising of 1821. So if you will start, thank you so much. And we had just begun and we restarted again this fascinating presentation. Francisco, historian Francisco Miguel Nogueira from the island of Terceira.
Thank you again. Sorry for this delay and this change. So now we can see the second image. Já conseguem ver o
Estamos a ver e ouvir.
You can see, okay, so, okay. Like I said, we don't have any image of Francisco António de Araújo, but this is his mother. It is here in Terceira. It is in Angra, and this is like a ring.
Mas estamos a ouvi-lo mal, infelizmente. O som vai e vem.
Pronto, e agora está a ouvir melhor?
Perfeito, muito obrigado.
Pronto, a ver, só preciso fazer aqui umas trocas e já está. Pronto, like I said, we have no photo or image of Francisco António de Araújo Azevedo, the 7th Captain General of Azores, but this is his mausoleum. It is in Terceira. It is a local cemetery in Angra, and this is like a ring of Francisco Borja Gastão Stockler, the 8th Captain General, and these 2 Franciscos are very important to the story that I'm going to tell about it. We are talking about the 7th Captain General of Azores, Francisco António de Araújo Azevedo, and the 8th one, Captain General of the Azores, Francisco Borja Gastão Stockler. 2 Franciscos, 2 military, 2 Captain Generals that faced each other, opposing each other. The relationship between them was never peaceful, and this presentation deals with this conflict between both. The book Angra in War, the Liberal Uprising of April 2nd, 1821, is the culmination of several months of research and investigation. So I left the PowerPoint in Portuguese for who wants to read in Portuguese. So let's talk about the English, but we can see some writing in Portuguese. In a time when everything is fleeting, keeping the collective memory of us alive is crucial. Knowing and publishing our history, preserving our heritage, and promoting our knowledge of the environments in which we live is a necessity for the culture of all of us. My book seeks to fill a certain lack of knowledge about this episode, reminding us all of the importance of knowing the past, our journey. Knowing more about what we did is knowing more about who we are. That is what history is all about. Let's see the most important moments in this history that I hope will pique your curiosity to know more about this event and about our Azorian history, about our Terceira Island history. We cannot talk about the liberal uprising of April 2nd, 1821, without talking about the deportees from the frigate Amazona that are very important in this time. These were men accused of supporting the French Revolution and its ideals, and as consequence of the third Napoleonic invasion of Portugal, because I don't know if you know, but we had three Napoleonic to French invasions of Portugal by the French, by Napoleon. In the third one, they were arrested between the 10th and the 13th of September 1810 in the São Julião da Barra. It's a fort. After some time, the regency of the kingdom, because the king, the Portuguese king, it was not in Portugal, he was in Brazil. He transferred all power in him and his family to safety. So he went to Brazil and create a regency that stay in Portugal. That represents the king in Portugal. And this regency decides to deport to Angra some of these people that they said that they were French, they were friend to the French, and they want to some support to Napoleon. So they went to Terceira Island. This is the boat, the frigate Amazona. This is the image of that boat. The sixth captain, sorry, the sixth captain general of the doors, Aires Pinto Sousa Coutinho, tried to take all possible steps to stop the arrival of the Afrancesados, like we call this Portuguese that is related to the French. On September 27th, 1810, the deportees left the frigate Amazona and were immediately taken to important points in Terceira Island under military escort, the castle of São João Batista in Terceira Island, when they were isolated. There are some names that in Portuguese of this people that came to the island in that 1810. Over time, these prisoners transitioned to a non-rigid prison regime, which allowed them to move around Angra, to have contact with and interaction with the people of the island. However, the Azorians did not react well to this presence, since for Terceira residents, the deportees proclaimed principles contrary to the established values, traditional values, ancien régime values. We can say that in French. Let's now jump to another key moment in this period before the liberal uprising. arrival and the government of one of the protagonists of this history. Not this man, but this man, it was important in this time. The seventh Captain General of Azores, Francisco António de Araújo e Azevedo, took office as governor of the Azores on May 14, 1817. In the hands of this man, Dom Frei Alexandre Sagrada Família, that is uncle of Almeida Garrett, an important Portuguese writer. And this bishop, this is the first bishop of Angra that is born in Azores itself. The first one, we only had two until now that are Azorian. This one and the one in the 20th century. But this is the first one that Bishop of Angra that burned, that was Azorian too. Captain General
just one question. So Francisco,
Yes.
so far
Yeah.
in the history of the Church of the Azores, there has only been two bishops of the Diocese of Angra and the islands of the Azores that were born in the Azores or were Azorian.
Yes, this one and
António Braga.
António Braga, exatamente.
Okay, so
In the
they were
20th century.
like about 200 years apart or more.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
100 and something years, because António Sousa Braga, it was in the late
It was
1919 or 1994,
right.
5 or 6, I think so. But
Okay.
they were the only two Azorians that were bishop of the Azores. It is only those two.
The others are all from mainland Portugal.
Yes.
Okay.
And this one,
This current one as well. Yes.
Yes, he is. And like I said, he was uncle of Almeida Garrett, that was an important Portuguese writer. And if you were in Angra, you can see the house where Almeida Garrett lived in Rua de São João, and had contact with this uncle, and this, yes, this uncle, yes. This uncle died in 1820, so it was only 3 years of bishop. Let's go to talk about Araújo. Okay. When he went to Feira, he started a series of decisions aimed to the development of the Azores. But he was a strong man with a very strong genius and was very determined. This policy of progress by the Captain General collided with the wishes and desires of the people, of the population, but did not reflect the solutions that he was presenting. They were not happy with him. In this context, popular discontent was growing every day about his work. Despite this, about this content and people not happy with him, Araújo approached the deportees that came in 1810 from Amazonia, with whom he had a close relationship and with whom he shared ideas and ideals. So he was not very popular to the population, but very popular with the deportees. Governor Araújo realized that the goats that were in the islands, that were on the loose, were ruining the cultivated fields, so creating problems for the farmers. So he ordered them to be killed, these goats, without prior warning about this killing. Araújo did not listen to the farmers that asked for not killing the goats, and he did kill in the same. So he was nicknamed Mata Cabras. That means in Portuguese, goat killer. So he was not very popular and not very. The people were not very happy with him. And about this killing the goats, it was a very big problem because the goats were very important to the people of the island. So the population discontent with the Rouge action reached out its peaks with the Captain General in
But
its attempt.
Francisco,
Yes.
if you could, yeah, when you turn your face the other way, we can't hear it. So
Okay.
yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank
No
you.
problem. But try listen to me, okay? No
Yeah.
problem.
Now we can listen
Okay.
to you like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, he was nicknamed like Mata Cabras, like the goat killer, and he's not popular, but unpopular life reached his peak in the when he tried to provide Terceira Island with an effective defense policy, with a good defense policy. But he wanted to do this policy with creating a mandatory recruiting of people to the military. So very disciplined and too severe and very bad to the people that was not very happy to leave the camps, to leave the fields, and go to the military only because the captain general is saying that they have to go. They want to stay with their families in their fields, so they were not happy with this. So it's another thing that became very important to the people, and they transformed Araújo in like he was a bad people because he wanted to do something to change the island, but not with the same, but not in the right way, because he was trying to do the changes, but not listen to the people. So they were not happy with this. But but in the middle of all this not happiness about him, he had a good moment one time in the islands. It was in June 8th, 1818, when 1907 Russian warships were sighted, but in San Miguel, but without any attack. And when they passed through Terceira, the population started to feel some fear of an attack. So he tried to do some defense. But he was in the head of the battalions, leading the military, sending them to the most vulnerable points of Terceira coast. And what happened? It was nothing happened. So this Russian Armada squadron went to the Atlantic. So this was not a problem. But they saw that he was a very strong man with some defense good ideas. For the first time in 2 years of leadership, it was the first time that they see a man that can control and can be a leader. With this moment of danger, Araújo began to accelerate the process of providing Terceira, with a more effective defense policy, but with the hostility of the local population that were not happy with the way he was doing this defense policy. On May 12th, 1820, according to Araújo himself in some writing that he left, he would visit São Miguel to learn about the recovery works and the preparation of the island's defense. So he was doing defense on Terceira, but also in São Miguel. This trip came shortly after the appointment of his successor. The Regency in Lisbon had appointed the 8th Captain General of the Azores, Francisco Borges de Garçon Stockler, an experienced politician and military man, in order to calm the mood and the population on the island that were not very happy with the rule, so they changed to another man. Araújo's departure from Terceira led the population of Terceira to assume that he had left for good, and therefore began to celebrate his dismissal. from the captains in general. When he found out about the liberal revolution in Porto, he returned to Angra to sit on September 19 and went to live in Betancourt Palace, the former archive and public library of Angra that you can see in this image, this house that he lived for some time. The liberal revolution that we talk about, that he found about in September 19, it was a revolution that happened on Porto on the 24th of August in Porto. They want to see the regency to finish, that the king can come from Brazil to Portugal, and to finish the regency of an Englishman called Beresford that was very it was not very happy to the people because he was trying to transform Portugal in an English colony. So they were not very happy. So they did this revolution to finish this, to become free from the English, and to the king to come from the Brazil to restore his power in Portugal again. And this is Stockler. On October 18, 1820, Stockler disembarked in Terceira to take his place as governor of the Azores. Stockler arrived without prior notice and ended up disembarking Will. He was Will when he arrived in Terceira. And this did that he was not having a great reception when he arrived. Araújo, thinking that the new captain was dying because he was ill, very well, so he was thinking that he was going to die. So Araújo suggested that he could replace him again. However, Stockler recovered. He became very strong and never forgot about Araújo's attitude. So they start to hate each other. Araújo left his position like Captain General, but not leave the islands. Like I said, he went to that palace, to live in this palace, and he was living here when Stockler arrived in Terceira. It was still the Betancourt Palace that he was living. On October 28, 1820, Captain General Stockler began a policy of press censorship and control of deportees. He didn't want information about what happened in mainland to reach the island and to reach the people. He didn't want the people to know about the liberal revolution in Porto, and that were doing some changes in Lisbon policy. So he want people not to do anything about the new liberal regime. He want to keep the order and like were before. So he tried not to try to the people to not to know anything about what was happening in Porto and in Lisbon. The deportees create a Sociedade Patriótica Constitucional in Angra. This is a secret society that was very popular in the 19th century. They meeting regularly against Stockler, and they start to think about doing something to stop Stockler and to remove him from office, from the Captaincy General. It was not only at his headquarters that the Patriotic Society gained great dynamism. They had a lot of people, some judges of Angra, some lieutenant colonel that were very against Stockler. So they start to create a society that want to put away Stockler from his office. So we can say that the people that live in Terceira Island, the normal people liked Stockler because they see a man that was calm and tried to do something very peacefully, not like Araújo. the most educated people start to hate Stockley because they see like he is a man that is trying not to do the best, that is creating a censorship, that is um, not trying to stop information and freedom. So they start to hate this man. So the normal people like him, the others don't. So this is a very um, different man. If you see this man from the people, you can see that they like him. If you see so from the educated people, you can see that they don't like him, and he is very not popular. Um, on March 1st, 1821, it was the first liberal uprising on the Azores. It was in San Miguel, showing the island's adherence to the Constituent Court. That is the court. It is when they start to write, preparing to write the first Portuguese constitution of 1822. So they try, this San Miguel people try to defend that they were doing some liberal changes on island, and they create a new general government of the island of San Miguel. But for the most important thing is this: they didn't did this for because they were very liberal. No, they did this for one thing only, because they wanted political separation from Terceira. They did this revolution to start to be independent. They didn't want to be on Terceira Island power. So they did this revolution to stop, and they did, and they separate from Terceira Island, and they remained independent that time until the end of the of this time. On March 24, news of the March 1st liberal revolution in Ponta Delgada reached Angra, and the atmosphere of revolution started to gain some power, and the elite was very discontent. So they were very happy that they started a liberal revolution in San Miguel. But Stockler was a little bit with afraid. So he knew about the secret meetings of his opponents, and he called several military people to ensure his safety, because he knew that something that was going to happen. So he was safe. And the liberal name to lead the uprising was Araújo, because he was more captain general. Stockler, suspecting of a possible coup led by Araújo, ordered his predecessor to leave Angra. Araújo's teammates decided that it was the time to do something, that it's time to action, because it was now or never. Now to change, or we cannot put Stockler away. So on March 27th, Stockler sent a proclamation to the San Miguel, trying to change the people and try to keep the island in the power of Terceira. He didn't get to the people, because they were very happy not to be Terceira Island power. It was a glorious effort. It was already too late to do that. Stoker began to focus on the problems that he had in Terceira Islands. So on the March the 31st, to the Secretary of the Captain General, Engineer Manuel Joaquim da Silva, he verbally ordered Araújo to leave Angra immediately. Araújo supporters took advantage of this situation to claim that Stockler was going to arrest the former Captain General, declaring that Araújo could be in real danger. So in the night of the April 1st, the liberals set the motion, the plan for the liberal revolution in Angra. The plan had been prepared by Figueiredo, a friend from Araújo, and Araújo and his companions were introduced to the castle. This castle that you can see in the image. It was the biggest one in Portugal and the biggest one in the Atlantic world. So it is very important to the Portugal history. I think we can say to the Atlantic North history. That is very, very important. It's very big. So they were introduced in the castle in that night of the April 1st. They had some supporters. The Antonio Fervan, a lieutenant, and João Pedro Araújo, that was Araújo's nephew. So when at 9 p.m. when the bell rang for the curfew, they started to be introduced in the castle. The rebels arriving at the castle arrest the governor of the Fortaleza, Lieutenant Paulo Xavier, who invited to join the liberal cause, but he said no, he didn't want to join the cause. So Figueiredo took command of the castle. Officers loyal to Stockler were trapped in their own homes. Araújo also made the airplane military issue with their new captain, that is Figueiredo, and the new captain, that is also Araújo. With the troops formed in the Castelo Square, that you can see this image, this is the square in the Castelo, in the fortress. Araújo from the top of the balcony of the governor palace, that you can see in the image, that house over there. This is they did some changes on the house, but it is this the governor's palace on the fortress. He asked for the soldiers to cheer for religion, for the Catholic religion, the king, the Portuguese king, and the future constitution. The military responded with all solemnity and cheered as requested by the former governor of the Azores. With at 2 a.m., the leader of the revolution asked for the castle to be illuminated with tar balls. The soldiers quickly went to the batteries, firing a 21 gun salute. With Castling, a small castle that was nearby this big fortress, doing the same. As his commander of this small castle was close to Araújo too. So they were doing some gunshots. Before long, the entire fortress was in uproar. The liberal uprising was underway. The leaders of the uprising met in the house of adjutants, the house of the governor, to create the new government that is called provisional joint of the supreme government of the Azores Islands, as privileged like this name, não é? Em português, Junta Provisória do Governo Supremo das Ilhas dos Açores. With the shot, Stockler that was in this palace that you can see in the image woke up and immediately began preparing a patrol of militia men. Stockler quickly dressed and went down. At this time, to the square of the Palácio dos Capitães Generais, that is this palace that you can see, where they were already, following his orders, the soldiers, also guard, the guard of the square, and some people trying to do something to protect the The rebels sent a letter to Stockler, that was in this palace, saying that he was provisional joint was created with military equipment. His late and Azorian and the Chiaran story information about this episode that is very interesting. The emissary was a Malaysian. The emissary that was sending this letter to Stockholm was a Malaysian lieutenant, Matthias Alman Bosch, who hadn't really considered what he was getting himself into. So, arriving at the palace and shooting the new system, he was beaten by the assistants from the Captain General, signed with his own officer badge, and taken preparations to Stockholm. So, was beaten for the Stockholm. It was received by Stockholm, who the hence the because he was saying that it was very dirty. So he didn't take any action. Yes, man. Read the letter. And he said that he was not able to do dismissal. So he was not going to accept was the Captain General, so of power. The rebels had a problem to solve. Very mean to Stockholm joined the military and shoot other that was 200 people. I think that possible, but the project was very strong. This flag alone forced to another place into survive and to lead the council and this new government. So with Stockholm prior, Rouge and his friends tried to be publicly acclaimed in the town hall. So the provisional joint was composed by Rouge and his friends, and the Bishop of Angra, because he was the bishop, so he was a member of this new government. So at 11 a.m. on April 2nd, Rouge and his companions head to the town hall, leaving the castle. To show their swords, they were accompanied by soldiers who remained at Town Hall Square. The provisional joint of the Supreme Government of the Anglo Giants met in the Town Hall of Angra, and they swore obedience to Dom João VI, the king, the Portuguese king, the Catholic Church, and the new constitution. Dom Manuel Nicolau Almeida, that you can see that image, this man, the Bishop of Angra, not agree to do this out. So he didn't do this out because he said that this was not very good for him. And even with the out, the population did not seem to be happy with this new government. So the people start to show that they hate Araújo. Some families end up fleeing to the country. The people that stay in the city in Angra close their windows to say that they are not happy with this uprising. But this uprising it was bloody. It was not bloody. They did not kill anybody. It wasn't, but they were not very happy, and they were showing that they were not happy with Rouge and his friends and his power. But with the oath taken, Rouge started to feel a little bit afraid of the people, so he returned to the castle and keep himself and his friends in the castle in that fortress that we see before.
Um, and they asked for the Treasury Board to be taken to the castle to know what the money they have, what money it was on the island, treasure. Meanwhile, Stockholm arrived in Praia at 10 a.m. in the morning. Stay in this house that you can see. This is a former image in the 20th century. This is a current image of the Alfândega, the place that he went, that is with Judge Joaquim Real Delgado. And Stockholm called a council of war for an attack to Angra. However, the people were not in favor of a new revolution against the new installed power. So they support Stockholm, but they didn't want to do any revolution again. Araújo sent a new emissary with a new letter to Praia to ask to Stockholm to go outside the city, that they have a new government. But Stockholm did not did anything that they ordered to him. He intends to return to Angra to fight for his return to power. So he returned to Angra on the April 3rd at 12 p.m. He wanted to carry out a counter-revolution, and he was counting with the discontent that will be in the castle with his supporters, with his friends. And the provisional junta did not arrest him when he arrived in Angra. He went to a friend's house on Luso-American, a very important street on Angra. And Stockholm trying to keep a cordial relationship and try to get some positive image of the people, decides to visit Stockholm on his new house in Nogueira. According to Francisco Rodão Lourenço, in a book, he said that there was an exchange of polite words between the two Franciscos, in which Stockholm always said that he was defeated but not convinced, and they say goodbye. They say goodbye, never to see each other again, because one of them is going to die in this night. At 4 p.m., Stockholm managed to go to see his family that was retired to the Convento da Conceição in Angra. He was followed by the people that was very happy with him, and think that he has to come to the power again, and that he was very, very cheered up, and he was very popular. It was seen like a martyr, was seen like a Catholic martyr, so he was very popular with the people. Araújo on that afternoon, after came home from the house of Stockholm, he started to talk about the counter-revolution. And Araújo, when that afternoon started to feel that something is not very good on the island, that he was not very safe, he went from the Palácio Teco that we saw before and went to the castle again. He was preventing some attack, and he was doing something to defend the new provisional junta, the new power. On 48, Stockholm plans of attack. A new planning attack on the castle. The climate of insecurity was very big. It was very evident that something was to happen. The meeting of the provisional joint was like immediately expelled. The first time to expel, not ask him to leave, but to expel from the island Stockholm. It was the first time that they decided to expel this man from the island. In an official letter to Stockholm, was intimidated into leaving the island, boarding to the flood mark to the mainland. The provisional joint stated that the public security of this city and of the entire island, and perhaps of the Excellency own security, requires that Your Excellency immediately embark on a ship that is ready to receive you, and that most sail until Your Excellency family can board the same ship heading to the port of Lisbon. This is with the greatest regret that the junta adopts that measure, that it was not anything to do more. You have to expel this man from the island, now or never. Soon the rumor that they were going to kill Captain General Stockley was echoing on the island. Stockley made it known that he could be in danger. The population joined the military to accompany Stockley on his way to the beach to board this new ship to go to the mainland, were furious. Like some Drake, they start to think that he cannot go off the island, has to stay in the island. The counter-revolution was underway. A new revolution started then, 2 days after the first one. At the castle, Stockley's supporters managed to gain support from the soldiers, the Captain General defense. The atmosphere of revolt was growing. Military madness was in all-time high. It seemed that there was no way to control this situation. That this man, Araújo, cannot control the support to Stockley power. The military was also revolted against the provisional junta. They were not very happy. The inhabitants of Teixeira were not happy with him. So after midnight on the 4th of April, it was already in the 4th. It was already after the midnight that the people with the soldiers, the military, start to march to the house that in the castle housed the members of the junta, where the junta were in that moment. The danger was imminent and great and big. It was a big danger for the first time, the biggest danger that they have until that moment. Upon arriving at the house where Araújo and his companions were staying, tempers were high. The notes from the military concerned the members of the provisional junta. Araújo decided the revolution against them was underway. There was nothing that they could do. So Araújo decided to went to the window to try to calm the people that were surrounding them. Soon shots were heard from several sides. Araújo couldn't say anything. A bullet hit him in the neck. He still tried to speak, but the second shot killed him. His body fell in that moment. He died. The revolt people entered in the house to attack the remaining members. They tried to escape, but they didn't get to that because the people that were in the castle were very surround them, so they had to stop. The soldiers that see Araújo's fallen body there, they took off his clothes and completely, completely naked, took the corpse with bayonets and took him out into the street, shouting, "Long live who killed the pig!" And now they are calling Araújo of pig, porco. The body was taken around the city, showing the end of Araújo and his government. The remaining members of the provisional junta were arrested in the castle, including the Bishop of Angra. When the soldiers went to get Stockley, he entered in the castle triumphantly, like he was he was winning the winner. He restored his power. He released the Bishop of Angra of being in the prison. He keeps some people in the castle prison. Some people that he thought that they were very dangerous and very liberal, so he keep them in the castle. And the Rouge family was taken prisoner too, so he tried to stop anything of changing. So, and after on the afternoon of April the 4th, Stockholm, accompanied by 2 battalions, which were stationed in the town square, he tried to get the power and tried to humiliate these people that were the supporters of Rouge. Rouge was dead, so he for his power and to keep the power, he wanted to humiliate this man. So at 3 p.m. on that afternoon, the members of the junta, of the supporters of Rouge, were forced to admit that Rouge was culprit of the military uprising and of raising troops against the governor. Fokker was thus able to publicly recognize that the provisional junta was acts wrongly and against the real and the real and the interesting power of Angra, that is the power of the governor, of the general governor. After the acclamation, he was the Tedeum, that is a Catholic song that was sung in the Church of the Fair. The liberals were persecuted and repressed, and 50 people were trapped in that time. And the military uprising had not brought any sympathy of the people, so they had no support in that time. Like I said, the Rouge body, a man that hated even after his death, remained and buried for several days, buried in the castle of São João Batista, and later transferred to Luso-American Cemetery in Angra. In 1869, he died in 1821, and he was transferred to the cemetery in 1869. You can see the time that's taken to him to be in this place, in this cemetery. When a group of liberals built this mausoleum that you can see in the image, a memory of the illustrious killed, which was recovered in the 2021 celebration of the 200th anniversary of this uprising. Fokker, who although reestablished his power, he kept himself in the castle for a while because he was a little bit afraid for something that happened again. So on April 19, Fokker made a proclamation to the people of Angra saying that he didn't want anything to jeopardize the stability of the city. So if anything can jeopardize this, was doing something against that situation. So he wanted people to be calm. On May the 13th, King João VI, 54th birthday, the frigate Peril arrived in Angra with the news with the king that sworn the base of the constitution, the new constitution, and that Angra had to swear to too. So Stockler decided that he would be best to resign his power because he didn't want to swear in this constitution. So he and the bishop resigned the power, and they still in the island. They keep in the island like an attaché to the new government. He was after asked by the king to be in prison, to be put in prison in Lisbon, not in Lisbon, but in mainland. And sometime after, in 1823, he came to the island because he was considered rehabilitated. he had the support of the king now again, so he came to the island again, and on the September 29, 1823, he was awarded with the title of Baron of the Vila da Praia, in recognition of his performance as governor. But in this time, when he went to the island, he was not with great joy because the people was not happy now with him, because the people start to understand that he did bad things, that he was not that man that they believe he was. He in the beginning he did something bad. He did bad things, but people didn't understand that. But now they were seeing that he was not a good person, so he was taken to the island, but he didn't have the support of the people. So he was dismissed in June 1824. Some people saying that the 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 appointment of the Manuel Minato Pamplona Corte Real, the first count of Subseda, as prime minister, the Terceira Island Terceira Island man, it was the start of the Stockler's decline. The liberal uprising that we were talking about, an event that only took place over 2.5 days, will have such intensity and left marks in our history. Two Franciscos, two military people that face each other, opposing each other. The relationship between them were never peaceful. However, Stockler allowed Araújo to stay in the island, and the Araújo never took measures against Stockler until the last minute, and was too late to expel this man of the island. Araújo's death put an end to the wishes of the liberals who lived through terrible times in this after Stockler returned to the power. But they, hidden, clandestinely, spreading their ideals, waiting for the moment, for his moment, for the liberal moment. But this is another story for another day that we can talk about the liberal in the island, because it's very important to our history, to the Portuguese history, and to the Terceira Island history, the second uprising in the 1828. Like I said, this book is not to give a idea of a hero, a villain, but we have a hero and a villain in this book. But to see that we have two people that they start to fight against each other, and they're very important to transform the island in a place that we're doing some changes with this uprising, and left a little bit of the liberal spirit for the future after this time. Thanks. I don't know if I have any question. If you understand anything I said. So.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Maybe Sishku, if you can stop the share. I don't know if I can do it from here. I don't think I can. But yes, here we go, and we can now see you well as well. So fascinating presentation, fascinating about the role that this these couple of people had in and how the population really also were involved in one way or another. They knew about what was going on.
What was the question? Sorry, I was not.
The question is what was going on between the rulers at the time, what was going on between the powers of the time, but the population was involved in it as well.
Yes, the population was involved. Yes, because Araújo was not. It was not. Araújo was not popular to the people. He was not a very pleasant pleasant man. I think he tried to do. He was a military with military thinking, so he tried to do changes in the island that the island need, but not in the right way. tried to do with some strength that people didn't react very well. And so he had no support from them. And about the Stockler, he was very popular with the people, and they started to defend him and saying that he was a great man, that he was trying to do the best to the island. Only after he went away, after he went to the prison, that they start to understand that he was not that really good man that they think about before. So when he came to the island after, the people start to hate him. Not before, but after this, they start to understand that he was doing things that were not very good to the island, that he was not liberal like he said he was, because he was not. He was not a liberal man.
So he was still very much in favor of a very conservative monarchy.
Yes, he said to the new government that he was liberal, but when he arrived to Terceira, he started to do policy that was not liberal. It was the opposites of that. So he was not a liberal man.
Well, thank you so much. It was a fascinating presentation. We look forward to having you again next semester. And your book is, of course, available for sale there in the Azores in
Yes.
various bookstores. So those who have, I want to invite those who are going to the Terceira into the Azores this year to look for it. They can buy it at the bookstores there in Angra. Your book, yes.
Yes. In the town hall, they have a lot of them.
Okay. Okay. That's the best place. Just walk into the beautiful Câmara de Angra and purchase the book there. Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, Francisco, thank you so much on behalf of the California State University at Fresno. I appreciate
you,
your
Ronald.
time. Take care. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch, and we will see you next semester with another fascinating talk. Thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Muito obrigado.
Thank you.
Muito obrigado. Muito
Obrigado.
boa tarde.